Hey everybody, welcome to FabFit Friday. I am here in my really hot studio and I'm really excited because I have a lot of fun to share today, and I feel like I'm on the cusp of having like an amazing new bunch of things to wear this summer. So I'm really excited, and we're gonna have fun today. So I was ironing this linen. This is kind of a natural color, or maybe slightly taupey brown colored linen. This is what I'm going to try to make my Pintuck dress out of. And I don't love this fabric, and I got it for a really, really good price. So it's going to be my muslin. And if it also works out to be a wearable dress, all the better. And of course, I'm hoping it will be wearable. Hey, Jennifer, welcome. So, let me shut this off here. Tell me if you can hear my fan. I have my fan blowing on me. I can shut it off if it's causing problems with the audio. So just let me know about that. And I just want to give you a close-up shot of this. What I'm going to do with this is, I only have my Material Magic in my shelf, so I'm going to go get some regular starch, and I'm going to give this linen a nice light starching, so when I go to sew my Pintucks on, I'll be able to make sure I'm sewing straight. Oh, I'm so happy you guys don't hear the fan. It's on full blast. Normally I put it on like the low setting, and it's very loud, but also I'm lucky because my Rode mic here is directional, so it only, picks up what it's pointing at. So I was kind of hoping I could have the fan going while I'm live with you so I don't completely start to melt. Let me just stop and say hi to Escape 10 Mom. Cindy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Kay. Don't hear the fan, keep it on. Hey, Pat. Oh, your sewing space is also toasty. I know. I used to have a air conditioner in that window back there, but I almost never turned it on because that does make too much noise. And I like having the natural breeze, so most of the time I'm fine, but it's been a long haul of like 90-degree weather. And actually today it's a little bit cooler, but not in my room. Hey Janie, welcome. Hey Victoria. Oh, it's raining there. Good day for sewing. I love that. I took my 2 dogs hiking this morning, and it started raining when I got to the parking lot, but then by the time I got to the summit, it stopped. So I had like a little sprinkle on the way up, and then it was fine. So yay. All right. So what I want to get to now is I just want to get back to this for a second. If you're just joining me, this linen is going to be my first version of the Pintuck dress. And like I said, I'm going to starch it a little bit. So I just wanted to show it to you. I've washed it and dried it, and I'm going to starch it. Let me just see if I can make a little bit brighter so you can see a little bit better here. I think that's better. Oh my God, Sylvia stopped watching Golden Girls to hop on. I'm giving you a gold star for that, Sylvia. I know there's a cult following to the Golden Girls. It's such a funny show. And then Cindy's going to go to lunch and she'll watch the replay. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hi, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. And Cynthia is telling me to stay as cool as I can. Oh my God, Momzilla says it's it's hot in Canada too. No smoke yet. Well, I'm glad there's no smoke. Whew. All right, so I'm going to put this away because I'm going to be starching it. In my head, I wanted to have it all sewn together, but of course that didn't happen. Before I get to the pattern work that I'm going to show you here, I'm going to open this up. If you were with me last Friday, you know that I got a bunch of things, a few things from Fabric Mart, from their from their Beyond Yoga fabrics. So I'm going to open this up and we're going to see what's in here. It killed me not to open it when it came the other day. I wanted to open it up with you guys. So that's how much I love you. All right, let's take a look at what I have here. Okay. So these are all, ooh, this is pretty. All right, I just want to point out that I only got one color that is in my comfort zone. I got this deep navy because I thought it looked really pretty. And, you know, I need some new tops. Now, these two, this one's called Space Dyed. And I was trying to explain what Space Dyed meant last week when I was, you know, when I was describing these to you. So let me just get over here. I want to make it really close. I'm going to use the label to make sure we're super sharp here. Now, I love the fact that Fabric Mart always sends a label because it tells us exactly what it is. It tells me what I paid for it, how many yards I got, and how to take care of it. So this is the Carmine Light Pink Poly Lycra, and the Space Dyed portion refers to this design it makes. That's what Space Dyed looks like. And I'm really excited. I think this is a nice bright color. So I'm going to be making some tank tops. And what I want you to do is notice my tank top. But first, let me just stop and say hi. Oh, Sylvia says it's 58 degrees in Germany. That sounds refreshing at this point. And Pat says that I am her Fabric Mart enabler. Her order is going to arrive tomorrow. Well, I'm very excited to see what you got, Pat, so you can share it in our Facebook group. I'm very impressed with the way these feel. These feel really nice. And I just want to show you me for a minute here. So I'm a creature of habit. And what I do is when I find something I like, I buy well, I don't buy very many clothes anymore, but I do buy these tank tops from Target. And it's kind of funny because if I stand up, see, I'm wearing one of my skirts. I like it because see how loose it is in the tummy? And the reason why it's so loose here is because it's their maternity brand. So I'm admitting to all of you that I got the maternity tank tops from Target because they were on sale for like $6.99 each. And I can't turn up a great sale for something that's a standard like this. So I buy my black tank tops, and I also buy black long sleeve jockey model long sleeve t-shirts for the winter. And I buy like 5 at the beginning of the season, and they're usually all trashed by the end of the season because I wear them on the regular. But what's happening now is you can see here and here, I always get sun, and no matter how much sunblock I put on these areas, they seem to get redder and redder and redder throughout the summer. So I'm going to create some easy breezy tank tops that have a little bit of a cap shoulder to cover that, and I'm going to make the neckline closer. And I'm going to make the back of the neckline closer too. You can see the back of this also is kind of deep and open. All right, so I'm just going to make them a little bit closer to my neck, and and I'm gonna, I'm gonna make the strap a little wider, and I'm gonna make maybe a little cap sleeve, just to give my skin a break. So that's my plan for these fabrics. Escape 10 Mom wore her maternity cardigan for years. I'm for that, yay. Well, haha. When I was pregnant with my daughters, I didn't buy a single piece of maternity clothing because I had a little basketball here and I could wear my regular stretchy pants and regular t-shirts. So I just saw these and I couldn't tell that there's nothing about them that says maternity, but they're just a little bit more fuller at the bottom. Sylvia thinks that's funny. I do, it's funny. I mean, we have to have fun with these things because, Diane says, Love the labels Fabric Mart sends. I always cut the label out with a nice size swatch attached and keep them for reference. That's a really good idea, Diane. And actually, the fabric that I am going to use for the dress was from Fabric Mart, and I did save the label, so I will do exactly what you just said. Oh, here, see, it's right here. Here's my label. I'll put it back on there for now, and then I'll make a swatch and keep that together, because that's a very good idea. I also have my Kylie in the Machine fabric ID labels I can use. All right, so let's just get back to this for one more second on the table here. I've got this nice space dyed, it's a Carmen light pink poly lycra. It's soft jersey. It's very soft. So that's going to become a top or two. Oh, Momzilla still has the pair of pants and she's wearing them 30 years later. I love that. This is, let's see what this one is. This is a wine berry. It's also space dyed, but you'll see this one is a little bit more subtle. Like the design in it is just a little more subtle. I'm going to jack up the brightness you can see. I love this color. So I'll be making a top or two out of this one. And then I have this really nice, this one's a rayon lycra. So this one is actually rayon lycra. So it's even softer than the other two. And it's a good weight. I think it shows through a little bit, but this is going to make a really nice summer top. I got 2 yards, so I can make 2 tops out of each color, and maybe I'll make them slightly different. Like maybe one I'll make with the cap sleeve, maybe one I'll make without a cap sleeve. But I'm going to have 6 new t-shirts, and of course I'll be sharing with you the process of making those when I get started. But I just wanted to share these fabrics from Fabric Mart, and I will say that if you haven't checked out these fabrics yet, they're the Beyond Yoga Pants athletic knits from Fabric Mart. They are nicer than I thought they would be. So that's my exact thought on those. Pat puts her label back on after she washes them. I'm not as organized as Diane to keep a swatch where I can find them. Well, that's another trick, being organized. We're all working on that. All right, so those are the new fabrics. Very excited about the fabrics. Now I'm gonna show you my pattern. I was really kind of excited at all of the interest that I got from, you know, Fit Tip Tuesday and working on this pattern. If you didn't see Fit Tip Tuesday, I just want to review with you what I did. Let me put the back down here. All right, so here is the top of the dress, and I'm just going to pull it through so you can see the entire thing. Yes, Escape Ken Mom, they're very, 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 very nice. Nicer than I thought they would be. Victoria says, my maternity pants got too small. I had to split them and add more elastic. The baby was 9 pounds, 8 ounces. Oh my God, that is a big baby. You should be celebrating on their birthday. You're the one that deserves that party. Oh my goodness. My babies were 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 3 pounds smaller than your baby. Oh my God. Woo! All right, so I'm just going to pull this through so you can see. So see, what I did was I extended it to 33 inches. So the side seam is 33 inches. And I kept measuring myself from my underarm down to just below my knee, hoping I would get a smaller number because I wanted to cut some off and make it a little shorter. But I'm just going to leave all the length because I am 33 inches from where the base of the armhole will be down the side seam to just below my knee. And I may shorten it once I make it, but I just want to have extra just in case. So first I lengthened it, and then you can see here, I'm just going to color in to make it really obvious. This is where I open the dart at the shoulder, so this pink area. Okay, that's the part of the bust dart that I rotated to the shoulder. you can see that added quite a bit up here, 3.5 inches. Then I also rotated the rest down to the hem. Now, of course, the longer the distance from the dart to where it releases, the wider it's going to be. So this actually opened up at my hem. It opened up 8 inch, well, 7.5 inches, we'll say. So I had to actually trim some off of the A-line shape that I did, because one of the important things when you're drafting a dress, I like to have my front and back hems be the same width, unless I'm adding fullness to the back or for some reason why it should be not the same. So for this dress, both hems are going to be the equal width across. So after I did them both, I trimmed some off of the front because it was wider than what I did in the back. And I'm going to show you the back in a minute. But basically, see, this is the dart and it just continues straight down. Now, someone had asked me why I pivoted the dart closed at the tip of the dart. So here's the closed dart right here. And why I didn't pivot over here, because I drew a line to my apex. Why I didn't pivot from here. This is the way you close a dart if you're going to make a princess seam. And then this extra length actually gets eased into the center front when you're doing a princess seam. So I followed the same method to close this dart, half in the top and half on the bottom, by pivoting at the tip of the dart, not over here. So if anyone's wondering about that, you do end up with this little triangle of space, but I am not going to stress about that triangle of space. All right, so I did that. The other thing I did was I was starting with my my perfectly fitted shirt pattern that I've been working on in my efficient workflow for bodice fitting classes. So you can see here, I'm just going to put back the neckline, right? So what I did was I decided I did not want the neckline to be right up against my neck. So I measured 2 inches out there, and then I dropped it 4 inches from my Adam's apple, or at the base of my neck, to make more of a scoop. And then I cut that off. And then I also added 1 inch. So here's my center front edge. I added 1 inch to it so I could do some pin tucks underneath the neck, because all of the extra I added here has to come off at the shoulder to make the shoulder agree with its original length. So all these pin tucks are going to make the shoulder small again, because I need it to obviously fit my original shoulder. And then let me get my back over here. Okay, so here's my back. So the first thing I did for the back was I made it, I traced a copy of my back shirt, okay, and then I matched my shoulder. So let me get that over here to show you. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is I matched my shoulder at the neckline edge, and I'm just going to fold this seam allowance back so I can show you here. Okay, so I matched them, and I should have saved the little strip, but basically what I had to do was I had to trim back. The shoulder extended 2 inches out here, so I just brought it in. I marked where the front came in, and I just redrew my back. So my back is going to be up high. It's going to be up high on the base of my neck. I didn't lower it here, maybe a 1/4 inch, and then to curve here. But it's going to be more of a, you know, sort of a wider neck, but it's not going to dip down in the back. All right, so Pat says, thanks for clarification about the pivot point. I was thinking the triangle of space would be helpful with ease. It does. It adds a little bit more room in there. I'm going to show you where else I added a little bit more room in a minute. Monzilla has a big question. Why not make the pin tucks to the correct width, then cut the pattern out? All right, so there are two ways to deal with making the pin tucks in the fabric. You can, once you're sure it's good and it fits, you can cut out the pieces, draw your pin tucks, sew them together, and then double check to make sure it matches, the fabric matches the back. Or what I'm going to do is I am going to trace the pattern piece onto the fabric with probably a friction pen, something that I can see that stays nice. I'm going to draw all my lines for my pin tucks. I'm going to sew them, and then I'm going to relay the pattern pieces on the fabric to finally cut them out. So if I'm a little bit heavy on the pin tucks or a little bit light on the pin tucks, I can adjust the front shoulder to agree with the back shoulder when I go to cut them out. So I'm a fan of tracing the pieces onto the fabric and then doing the pin tucks, then laying the piece back on the fabric and cutting it out to make sure it's right. But of course, you have to remember, I still want to test this pattern for fit anyway. So for this one, I'm gonna, see how it works. I'm hoping to end up with a wearable muslin because I am using that linen for my first try. But I feel fairly safe it is going to work because, again, I've already fit this shirt to my body. So I know this shirt fits me. And I've added some extra ease. So I think it's going to be fine. And I'm not going to put a sleeve on it. So it's just going to be a sleeveless dress. And then I think that's going to be fine. But I made sure the neckline intersection matched nicely. And there was a nice shape front to back here. And then, show you here, I slid it over to the other side, like this, because I had to make sure that the neckline, the armhole also has a nice shape front to back. I'm just double checking that. So you can see that my armhole is a nice shape. Okay, so I've got a nice C shape. Now, remember, this shirt pattern, or the sleeve, goes to the tip of my shoulder because this is my button-down shirt. So once I get it in fabric, I may actually cut it back a little bit away from the tip of my shoulder. So I'm going to decide that in the fabric. But again, I'm just double checking to make sure it's got a nice shape, which it does. So my armhole is nice, my neckline is nice. So then what I did, let me just back this up here. I added ease to the back so I slashed the pattern all the way up to the shoulder here. Okay, and you can see I can just mark it for you. This is how I spread it, all the way down to the hem. There's my hem. Okay, so that's how much I added in the back. And this is a little bit less than what I added in the front. So to make them match, I just trimmed a little bit of the width off the side seam. So if we look at these side seams now, another thing I did, which I think will be really helpful, is when I closed the dart, I got a little dip here. So this is the original side seam, kind of did this. Okay, so I decided to straighten that out. So I've added another almost 3/4 of an inch at my dart level to make it straight. And then you can see this blue line is the side seam here. And I might as well cut that out. So like if I cut this out on the line, just so you can see. Now my side seams have an inch safety seam allowance on them. So I have plenty of room to let this out if I want to let it out, okay? It's not a 1/2 inch seam allowance, it's an inch extra. And then if anybody's working with my perfectly fitted shirt pattern, you may have noticed I put bigger seam allowances on all the edges for fitting. So there's 3/4 inch seam allowances at center back, which I've marked. And there's also 3/4 here. So I have plenty of room to let this out if I need to, as in addition to the ease I've added. But once this is cut now, I can put them right sides together. And you know, it's always important to make sure that the side seams are in fact the same length. So I'm just going to walk them down. And you can see right here that my my back is a little bit longer than my front. So I'm going to make a note of that. Let me just walk it one more time. So what I'm going to do at the top here is I'm putting it 1 to 1 here. I'm just following it down 1 to 1. When I get to the bottom, my back was that much too long. So we want it to be the same length, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just dash in over to here. Oops, like that. All right. So now I know that my side seams are the same length. And I'm just going to cut this just so I don't forget. So I'm cutting off all my extra fabric here. I'm going to keep the center back seam. I'm really a fan of center back seams because it always helps with fitting, just in case. So I'm going to have a center back seam. I've got my extra here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I was thinking about what might be fun up at the top here is that I can extend this out a little bit more so I can pin tuck from the base of the back neck, you know, maybe a little bit here. So I think that could add some nice shaping. So this is my 3/4 inch seam allowance. Let's add, I don't want to add a ton. If I'm doing 1/8 inch tucks, that works out to be 1/4 per. So if I did, like, let's say I wanted to do, let's see. So let's say we did one right here. So there's the 1/4 for that. And then let's say I wanted to do one here. And then let's say I wanted to do one here. So we could do 4 tucks on each side with a 1/2 inch in between. Okay. I could have 4 tucks coming down, and I can actually have them come down in a radiating or graduated length. So like, let's say my middle tucks, you know, come down to, let's say, armhole. And then as they get farther away, we can do them like a little bit shorter. Maybe something like this. 1.5 inches. I'm making them 1.5 inches shorter as we go. So maybe something like that. Okay, so I'll have a short pin tuck here, longer, 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 and then that's my seam. So I may do something like that as well. So if I'm going to have 4, that means I have to add another inch here, because 1, 2, 3, 4/4 is 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself 1 more inch here, so I can tuck it up and fix it. I think I have just enough fabric here to, or paper, to draw that all the way down. Whew. All right, I don't have enough right here. I'll fix that after. But basically now I've got plus 1 inch here for 4 pin tucks. Okay, and you know, I think I might make them longer and then they'll go back up that way on the other side. So that's going to be the design of this dress. And then let's just draw in what I think I'm going to do over here. So over here, I've got, let me move this out of the way. Now let me just stop and say hi to, oh, hi Linda Lee, welcome. I'm glad you made it to the live too. Just showing the dress. If you go back and watch the beginning, I showed the fabric I'm going to use, plus I showed how nice the fabrics from Fabric Mart are. They're Beyond Yoga fabrics. They're very, very nice. All right, so now in the front, we've got 3.5 inches. So that means I have to make, if there's 4 tucks per inch, that's 14 tucks through the shoulder to make it back to its original width. That seems like a lot to me. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna make one here. So like here, I'm gonna leave it from, you know, the armhole seam over. I'm not gonna put one. And obviously I'm gonna leave this 1/2 inch free as well. So I have this much space to make 14 pleats. I don't know if that is actually going to be, that might be too many. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to start marking them. Let me use a different color so I can keep track of what I'm doing here. I'll use silver. All right, so we'll do one here. Well, actually, maybe what I should do is I could actually make these tucks a little deeper. Deeper might be better, easier. So what if I made 1/4 inch tucks, which would be really not a pin tuck anymore. That's more of just a tuck, right? But if I did 1/4 inch tucks, then I would only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's more realistic. So let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 1/2 inches. There's 1. Then I'm going to skip 3/8. No, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. I'm just going to mark 1/2 inches and I'm going to see how many I have. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's going to work out perfectly. Well, no, because I'd have to put, I'm not gonna put one right there. So I can do 6. So that means I have to get rid of 1/2 inch. If I can do 6, that gets rid of 3 inches. Oh, Tana. So Tana is so funny. Alexis just reminded me, well, I'm so happy you're here, Tan. I'm glad that Alexa reminded you. And Dawn says, late to log in, but we'll watch the beginning later. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm planning where I'm going to put my tucks to take up the space. And what I'm realizing is I was going to do 1/8 inch tucks, but I don't want to make 14 of them. I think that's too much. So I'm increasing it to a 1/4 inch pleat. So we're moving from tucks to pleats, technically. So essentially, if I do, let's see, so one will be right here. I'm just going to draw them in so you can see them. So here's a tuck, and I don't know how long they're going to go, but basically I'll draw them graduated so you can see which ones are the tucks and which ones are the spaces. Oh, and also you can see I'm drawing them crooked. Okay, it looks like I'm going parallel to here, but I think I want my tucks to be like this, right? So now I'm starting to make a mess of this pattern. So let me just, okay, so there'll be one here. And then there'll be one here. So see, we want the tucks to be parallel to our center front. All right, so I'm gonna have to go back and well, not parallel to my shoulder, parallel to center front is how we want these tucks to go. So here I'm drawing them wrong, but you can see if I have space in between each one, you know, let's say I have another one here. I just want to draw them in so you can see space, space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there'll be one more here, 6. So I'll have 6 on each side, and then I will have 4 of them here. So I'll start one like right here, and I'm going to increase the amount of ease I'm adding down the center front to allow me to do 4. Like this. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what I'm going to do with these tucks. And then, all right, so this is 1, 2, 3, and then 4 will be here to here. That's my center is 4. So I'm going to add a little bit more ease because I doubled the size of my pleat. So these are a full ½ inch. I was planning on 1/8, so I only added 1 inch here extra, so I'm going to have to add another inch to make room. So I will be adding another inch here too, which I barely have enough fabric, paper. Okay, so I'm going to plus 1 more inch. All right, so I'll be able to get 8 pleats down below the neckline, and then I'll have 6 pleats going across the shoulder. And I think proportionally that's going to work out because this is bigger than this is. So that'll work out. And of course, it looks really crazy now because I'm just drawing my lines all over the place. But I'm going to make sure that they're parallel to center front so they look straight when I'm sewing. And I think working on a starched fabric is going to help me as well. So just to recap, I'm going to add 1 more inch here to make up for these bigger tucks now. So I'm going from pleats to tucks because a pin tuck is tiny. So we're going to move on to pleats. They're all going to come straight down like this. Just make this a little bigger so you can see my crazy mess now. But I may, change how long they are to create some sort of design in the various length of them, but I'm going to think about that some more. But that is my plan for this dress. I'm very excited about it. Let me just show the fabric one more time here. Okay, so this is the fabric, and because it's a lightweight linen, I'm going to make sure that I starch the daylights out of it. So that's going to be my plan, and depending on my schedule, I'm just going to let you guys know I'm finishing up a brand new class for pattern review. I'm teaching serger troubleshooting 101 on Wednesday at 3 o'clock on pattern review. I'm very excited about this class because it is partially pre-recorded and partially live demo. So I'll be able to answer questions for people. I'll be able to have a lot of things that are ready to go. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of excited about that class. So I will be focusing on finishing that class between now. I mean, it's almost finished. I just need to format some of the videos and make sure I have everything in order. So what we're going to do next Friday is, my goal is to have it starched, the fabric starched, the pieces traced on, and then I'm hoping I will have all of my tucks pressed into place so I can show you how to sew them, so you can see that process. And then I'll work on sewing this next week, so you'll get to see some of the sewing portion next Friday. So that's my plan. I'll also have my new fabrics washed, and maybe I'll even have on a new Beyond Yoga fabric top on to share with you, because I'm very excited about that fabric. So I have a lot of things I want to work on, and I don't think I can sew the whole dress and have it ready for next Friday. So what I'll do is I'll get it prepped and ready so I can show you how to sew it, and then we can, you know, sew together next Friday. And then if anybody is trying to do this Pintuck dress along with me, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to either post questions under this video after it's off, like so when it's a replay. I'll answer your questions, I'll help you, because I would love to see if anybody else is trying to make a Pintuck dress by rotating a dart as well. And if you missed the step-by-step on how to rotate the dart, I did that on Fit Tip Tuesday earlier this week, so you can check that out. Oh, Carla is asking everybody, reminding everyone to hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. I know, I have to really give people like Carla a gold star. I'm so bad at like promoting myself or asking people to like my stuff. So Carla, thank you so much. So that's it for today. My daughter's here visiting and she's by the pool, so I want to go over and say hi to her and see how she's doing. I told her I couldn't come down to visit until after FabFit Friday was over. So I'm very excited. I'm glad you guys joined me. And again, if you have any questions about any of the process for making this pattern, please let me know. And I will definitely answer questions if you have them. So please ask questions. Also remember, the only reason why I have a Facebook group and a Discord channel is to also give you a place to post pictures and questions. So please feel free to keep me posted if you need help. All right. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I have a very fun, cool tool for Monday, so make sure you check that out. I'm not going to give you any hints, although it's something that also is going to be talked about in my serger class. I think I can give you that hint because really it's not a hint, but I'm very excited about my cool tools this week. And yeah, so that's what's happening. So thank you guys for watching. Have a nice weekend, and I will see you very, very soon. All right. Bye, everyone.